Well, I'm thinking that we should be able to say good morning, everybody. And it looks like we are live. Welcome again. Dr. Misak here, Pittsburgh Alternative Health, and welcome to a live show. It will probably take you guys a moment or two to log on, so I could just sit here and meditate and wait till you're ready. But I always do prefer to start with a Bible verse, and I'm going to start with I love this Bible app. It's just an incredible thing, and trying to do the Bible in a year from and just other things like that. But it's from Joshua 1:9. And have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous, do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Isn't it Joshua 1:8 that's, as for me and my house, we shall serve the Lord? I believe it is. I haven't. But, you know, strong and courageous in the world that we're in and all the things that are going on is just something that we have to step up. And especially with crappy years like this one's been, I'm sure many of you can agree with me. Good morning, Diana. I'm sitting here running a show without Annie. And I was just like, Annie's like, let's take the day off. And I'm like, I got to go in and water my plants. I feel like I'm going to go in there and do some therapies, after all the stuff that I've been eating and things like that. I could probably use a colonic, all that fun stuff. And I think it's time to just come in anyway. And since Andy's not here, you guys get to see me a little bit kicked back. Got a nice peanut sweatshirt for Christmas. My daughter got me that. If you've ever been in my office, you'll see Snoopy kind of laying around here quite a bit. Good morning, Marnie. I'm just here to, just to bring things to the air, whatever you would like to talk about. I probably may not keep it up. I don't know if I could chat for an hour or just sit here and talk about anything and everything. It's dependent on what you guys bring to the chat, in all honesty. I do want to just say, hey, for those of you that don't tune in very often, and just because of the time of year, Merry Christmas to you all. I hope that it was blessed. We got a white Christmas, first time for a while here in Pittsburgh. It always seems to skip Christmas, and just a little cold. I think 16 degrees or 15 degrees is turn that up just a little bit, God. But I'm happy. It's white. We had a great time yesterday with family. More food than you could imagine. And it's just a blessing. You got to count your blessings. If anybody can tell you that, it's me at this point. And I'm just thankful. But I want to cheers. I want to toast to you guys. I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to just wishing you all just an incredible and improved new year. Next year has got to be better than this one. And so I just want to just thank you for tuning in. I thank you for helping make this show a success. I think I just enjoy what we do. What is the best vitamin C for someone with a sensitive stomach? I can talk about that too. But until then, hey, cheers to you. I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for being part of this ministry per se, and just spreading the word that everybody can truly be healthy because God gave us that ability. But cheers, especially to Annie and those who could not be here today. And so Annie last night texted her and like, hey, you want to do a show or do you want to skip? She's like, I want to sleep in, Doc. Let's skip a week. And I'm like, well, I'm going in to water my plants. So I just decided to jump on, and whether we jump on and talk for an hour or not, we'll see. But Marty, what is the best vitamin C for someone with a sensitive stomach? Good question. Personally, I like whole food based. There's one by Innate Response. They're horse pills, though. They're monster pills. Historically, the two forms that were used by Reams formulated one by with daily manufacturing, and it's called Spectrascorb. I think Spectrascorb Plus is the one I use because it actually has a little bit higher amount of. But what it is mineral ascorbates. It's calcium, magnesium, zinc, all attached to an ascorbate to release that vitamin C while you're giving more minerals. There's also for people with, a lot of people use buffered C, and they're buffering it so it doesn't have that acid effect. I tend to watch for buffered C because, um, well, some people suggest that if you're acid, that would be okay. I haven't found that. I have found that these monster pills in a big glass bottle by Innate Response, it's a whole food vitamin C called C400. Seems really, really well tolerated, and people do it well. And the other one is that lipospheric. Lipospheric is an emulsified vitamin C. Usually, not sometimes it's in a soybean oil. Don't necessarily care for that. Other times you'll see sesame oil or something to that effect. And but lipospheric vitamin C was supported by Dr. Badeau prior to his passing. He would say that he thought that it did not have an acid forming effect, and people that were even in the DE range, that acid base range, could still do it. And so that was what he was promoting most. There's a lot of things in the later years Dr. Badeau promoted. He started using a lot of vitamin K2 and promoting that with everything, with the vitamin D, and there are some reasons for that. Um, Sue, Merry Christmas, Doc, and everyone. I have eaten way too many things I shouldn't these past several days. Terrible indigestion. Um, Sipping apple cider. Any other suggestions? Yeah, do a colonic. That's what I'm doing. I did the same thing. So I'm guilty. Our church, lovely Christmas Eve service. Separation, all that fun stuff for COVID, but just a beautiful service. And then at the end of it, they had chocolate covered Oreos by Sarah's Chocolate here in Pittsburgh. And they're just like, hey, they had all these extra. Take all you want. And of course, we're usually one of the last ones to leave. And my son is shoving his pockets full of them as he leaves. They're like, yep, take whatever you want. And they go, how many more can I cram in there? And so, and then my son turned around and he had to go home and obviously wrap the gift that he was getting me. And my family got me, something that I've been looking at and said, this is what I want. And it's these stackable Craftsman toolboxes. They can all clip on top of one another. There's big ones, there's small ones. There's one that you can have dividers in there. And then there's this one that has drawers that has dividers so you can put screws or other things that you would use regularly in there. And he took those chocolate covered Oreos, and when I opened the drawers, each one of those little things was full of a chocolate covered Oreo. So guilty, ready to crash after I eating them, messes me up. Yep, time for colonic. I got to get myself back in gear. It's just, I understand. Apple cider vinegar, it depends on your pHs on whether that would be something to truly get you there. Probiotics, not a bad idea. Probiotics will help get that stuff, but you got to clean out. Go easy on that diet. One really quick way is fasting. Just take a day and fast. Don't eat. And I personally, when I fast, I do a Reams fast for a day. Lemonade, water, alternated all day long. If you've never done that, just do some chicken broth and water, or just don't do too much broth. Just keep the water going and just clean yourself out. But that's there's a lot to be said for how to recoup after what we possibly have eaten way too much when we go into these type of things. Good morning, Jackie. Leah, good morning. Jackie, good morning. I mean, so when I sit here and think about, hey, what can I turn around and talk about? It's hard to make those choices, especially when I'm doing it on a fly and like, okay, what am I going to talk about today? So again, if you guys have questions, please bring them to the air, But it's Christmas season, and it's all, the three things we have are that we always talk about at Christmas is love, joy, and peace, and there's one connection with all of those things, and it's God. You can't have love without God. God is good. God is love. It's just there. It's all good. Comes from Him. It's defined. Corinthians chapter 13. Just read about it. If I have clanging cymbals and if I prophesize, it's nothing. It's all meaningless. And if you don't have love, and that says it comes down with God. And God tells people to go out and be disciples, and that He will be with them till the end of their days. How can you not be happy or have love or joy if God is not with you. The fruits of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, they're all in one, and you can have all of those by choosing them, and I've talked about meditating and finding yourself and finding your quiet time. And God says, be still and know that I am, because he's here, and just finding that peace, people, because the peace of God is everlasting. I think it is Isaiah chapter 9 talks about Christ is going to come, that he's going to send mighty counselor, prince of peace. Christ is our peace. If I'm telling you, if I didn't have it, I wouldn't be on this show. Not right now, not after what I went through this year, people. This has just been the crap year of crap years. And if it wasn't for God, there's no way that I could find the peace that I can still find and joy. The joy, let the the love, the joy of the Lord be your strength. It's so true. I can't sit here and deny it, and I just, that's the one thing that I hope and pray for all of you, is that, through all of this, I can sit here and teach whatever I understand, and a model and an understanding of how this health works in this world, because God created us in his image, formed us from this planet, from soil, other than women break a rib off and here let's start you from flesh. But still, we're made from soil. We go back to soil, and the health of your soil dictates the health of you. And so that's what I kind of have brought to the table. And it wasn't even my idea. A guy named Kerry Reams did it and explained it all mathematically, and explained how energy works, and how we are energy, and it's all frequency and vibration. And the smartest people of the world, Tesla and Einstein and Kerry Reams, and these people just sit here and outline this quantum approach. And a lot of people talk about quantum energy approach. Hey, let me put my hands over you and I can feel and move your energy. It can be done. I'm not going to deny that. And I'm sorry for making fun of those who do that type of thing. It's not to be made fun of. We're all different radio receivers per se. We're all different radars and antennas. How many of you have ever radar? Just something doesn't feel right. You don't. Like, I don't know about this. I got to get out of here. And then you walk away and boom, a bomb goes off in the cafe and explodes behind you. Not exactly, but you get the point. We all have these radars, and what is that radar? I used to work with kids and say with Royal Rangers, and it was like a Christian Boy Scout organization. Exactly what it is, actually. And we'd go camping and teach them how to tie knots and how to play with great big fun big knives, and whittle wood and stuff like that. Hey, what am I going to do with that, right? And so we go and we play, and we just learn all these key aspects of how to survive. But the basic thing is teaching these kids the love of God, and not only certain skills, but one of my favorite was how to hear that voice. Be still, know that I am. Wow, how many people actually meditate and get quiet? Or children, no way. But you can let them realize, like, hey, did you hit your sister? How many of you got sisters or brothers? And they're like, yeah, I do that, And you're like, did you know it was wrong? Yeah. Did you know it was wrong before you hit your sister? Yeah, I did. How did you know it was wrong? How? What told you that? There's a voice, and learn to hear that voice. And I teach those kids, or at least I used to. I went through Royal Rangers for 13 years with them, and learned to teach those kids how to just recognize that voice and say, listen, God's not going to misguide you. He's with you. He's with all of us. And it's really the only thing that's going to get us through from one day to the other, especially in this screwed up world. That's my thoughts. Let's see what we got here. Good morning, Leah. Jackie, good morning. Linda, question related to Marty D's question. Is liposomal C really better than other forms? Nah, I wouldn't say yes. I mean, they're using an ascorbic acid. They're stabilizing it. It's in a very absorbable form. You're in an oil-based form that's emulsified. So you're getting some fats with it. You got a water-soluble product and a fat-soluble medium. Is that great? I don't know, but What you are, when you micelize, you have, imagine oil being filled with, millions of tiny droplets that are so small that they're just keeping themselves apart, and they're so small that they can get directly absorbed, and there's a vitamin C hidden inside of it. So liposomal C was what Dr. Badeau highly recommended in his later years, and that's what he would say, just go with. Expensive as crap, people. 45, 50 to $5 for a 1 quart bottle. You do. Usually, some of them are a teaspoon will give you about 1,000 milligrams. Other companies make it in these little packets. You just squeeze it into your mouth, and shoot it down. If you can afford liposomal C, it works. I can say that. What I would tell you is to go to Amazon, buy Merit, MERIT 3 strips, okay? And Merit 3 urine strips they check for ketones, pH, and vitamin C. And it's a vitamin C saturation test. What does that mean, Doc? It means that if you're peeing out a lot of vitamin C, then your body's not holding on to it and using it. It's that simple. If you pee out a little bit of vitamin C, 0, 15, 20 based upon those strips, because it's a 0, a 10, a 50, and 100 or something like that. But you can kind of judge, like if it's in between it, it'll be it goes yellow if it's fully saturated, 100 milligrams per deciliter of vitamin C. And it says you're peeing out a lot of vitamin C. Now, don't waste your strips by taking some vitamin C and then testing it an hour later. It ought to be 100. If it's not, your vitamin C is crap or you're not absorbing it. That's can be pretty simple right there. And that maybe waste 1 strip that way. But on a generalized aspect, checking your vitamin C status periodically, because if you're I have some people who need, 6,000 milligrams a day. Most people, 1,000, maybe 2. And then sometimes I'm giving opposing vitamin C and vitamin D because both of them are so beneficial. And if you need to stay away from COVID, you got to take the C, the zinc, and the vitamin D, right? So, I mean, that's what we're sitting here. We're hearing that there is some benefits with COVID and prevention. Just know what those things are doing. Watch your pHs and see how they handle it. Vitamin C, liposomal vitamin C is good. Make your own. Go to Harbor Freight Tools, get one of those vibrational things that vibrates that you can polish rocks with, and you can put the stuff that polishes rocks in there and just vibrates it for a day or two. But those vibrating things that they use for cleaning tools and stuff like that, that's what you make liposomal C with. You mix a mixture of oil, your vitamin C, you mix it up, and you just let that thing vibrate for a couple of days, and it turns around and micelizes. I can't remember what you're using as a. You have to have something that mixes water and oil, which is an anionic surfactant, which is kind of like soap. I've talked about Dawn takes grease out of your way and why to use lemons, but there's I know there's recipes out there on how to make liposomal C. You get one of those vibrational things, you'll save yourself a bundle. You can get a pound of ascorbic acid for next to nothing, a little bit of oil, to make your own. And next thing you know, for $5, you're making what would cost you $300 online for buying bottles of liposomal C. So Val Davis, any guidance for us that may have had too much wine yesterday? I think the room is spinning. Wow, Val, and I start my day out with a shot of a little liqueur. Cheers to you, right? Um, I well, if you like homeopathics, and if you know about homeopathics, which probably not going to be able to go out and buy one at a store today, I love Nux Vomica. Nux Vomica is for the eternal hangover. After you drink too much, turn around and take some Nux Vomica. Just kind of gets you through the morning, takes away that morning hangover headache. If you are well aware enough when you drink too much at night, and hopefully you're drinking water in between that alcohol, not totally dehydrating yourself, or it's going to be a long night of no sleep. But I would tell you to take Nux Vomica before you go to bed and when you get up. Otherwise, if you're still feeling it, Reams taught that coffee is the antithesis of alcohol. So remember those old videos, and it was 1930 movies and stuff where somebody was just slobbering drunk. How you doing today, man? Yeah, I'm doing all right. Here, have some black coffee, right? And they just try to sober them up by pushing black coffee on it. Interestingly enough, that's probably the best thing you could do to sober somebody up. Coffee, the caffeine helps to process it out. It blocks, and Reams suggested that it had a blocking effect on the alcohol itself, because alcohol literally displaces oxygen availability and is the death of our blood. Reams just said alcohol is poison. Yet, I've heard stories of Reams showing up in the morning drinking a beer because of his pancreas and his sugar regulation, and that a little bit of alcohol, he needed it. He would consistently do Zest Tonic, which is a mixture of apricot brandy, um, um, gin, and peppermint schnapps or something like that. I can't remember. But those three, that he made this up. Particularly, he said that a gin was the most like um, our the alcohol that our body's producing. And because Kerry Reams had shrapnel in his pancreas, he had to regulate his pancreas, and he had a sweet tooth, and he would drink alcohol to keep his sugars from just over being too low, I presume, consistently. And it wasn't ironic. Well, I can't. It was just an odd story. Somebody said, "Yeah, I met Dr. Reams in 1980." One or something like that, and I didn't. My wife got me to go to this place, and the man walks in drinking a beer at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna like this guy." So anyway, yeah, Nux Vomica is probably a good place to start. You got to go easy on that gut after all that alcohol. So I would not turn around and have a cheeseburger. Yep. So I would probably say let's go eat, something easy. A smoothie might be something good for you this morning, to make it easy on your gut and easy to digest. Lauren Jones, good morning. Just Leah, good morning, Doc. Why are colonics so effective in clearing the head? Because you're just flushing it out. You lower the load on the body. Remember, we've talked about, I can do the Andy trick here. Where is it? Somewhere on this I think it's this one. Let me see if that shows it. Hold on. There you go. So if you look at the restorative health model, on the left, it says total load. What are your stressors? Physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, environmental, microbial. You have a load, and then you have that blue line, that threshold. And when you exceed the threshold, your symptoms come about. And when we talk about that 5-phase mentality with that bar, is cleaning up your life, pure air, pure food, pure water, and then doing the testing yourself, knowing what you're reactive to, doing supplements, but that's just what does your body need, and then detox. Your body will naturally start to detox when you start lowering the load. And colonics are that incredible detox aspect where you are just flushing. They improve elimination. You just, and in reality, the hot water relaxes and breaks things down. The cold water contracts, and that expansion and contraction improves bowel tone. So a series of colonics can be magical for those people who tend to be alkaline and have those high pHs. And Reams, the way he calculated how many colonics to do, he'd say, what's your urine pH and how many value points above 6.4 is that? So if you were at 6.8, you need to go have 4 colonics, and he'd have you do 1 a week. If you were over 7, hey, you need 6 colonics or 8 colonics. Historically, it was doing 12. But when you flush that stuff out of your body, your body goes into, hey, there's nothing down here. Let's dump some more. And colonics also, the purpose of that colon is to suck up water, right? And so, Val Davis, you should be drinking some water today, too, and rehydrate yourself. If you have a refractometer, be sure and check it, which I know you do. So, and see where those sugars are. But if when you put that water back up in your bottom and that colon sucks water out, that's why we have an open system, because, hey, I got to pee. If you're on a closed system, you can't pee. You got to wait till the end of the session. But you absorb water and you hydrate. So you're hydrating yourself. You're affecting your sugars. Most people who are too alkaline also tend to have high sugars and have high salts, and the colonics will lower that. If you are a low sugar person, one of those people who can't get it over, one or something to that effect, then before you go into colonic, eat a banana or something to keep your sugars from crashing. Because colonics with absorbing that water will lower it. But what you're doing is you're cleaning the whole system. You're telling the body, hey, it's cleaned out down here. Let's dump some more stuff. And it triggers a whole body detox. Just like those ionic foot baths that we've talked about. They're stimulating internally for you to detox. And you just have to make sure that you're pooping and peeing when you're doing those type of things. Let's see. Jackie. K. Elmer YouTube channel gives excellent instructions on liposomal C, including how to make it. He included many links to research, where to buy, etc. Thank you, K. Elmer. My favorite Elmer was Elmer Fudd. Oh, where's that Wesley Wabbit? So, hey, anyway, I grew up watching that stuff tons. Let's dig a hole and pop up in China, right? With Bugs Bunny. Sue, lot of my friends, mid-50s age range, are having problems sleeping or staying asleep. What are some of the things that you see with that? A lot, actually. Hold on. I'm dying to take a drink of my coffee. Oh, it's getting cold. That means I'm talking too much. There's a lot of issues when you're talking sleep. Sugar regulation is huge. Start with a refractometer pH strips and learn your patterns. Mineral deficiencies. I've seen zinc play a role. I've seen iron play a role. I've seen vitamin A. I've had people start vitamin A drops. Wow. And they can start sleeping regularly just from restoring vitamin A. If there's restless legs, there could be potassium and magnesium issues as well. Eating too big of a dinner. Reams tells a story of somebody who wakes up late, eats a brunch, decent size, doesn't eat again till a decent sized dinner, eating 2 meals a day, but both sides. And he's like, these people will never sleep because how their body's being told to process and generate energy is just not practical. You're telling your body with a big meal in the evening, hey, here's a bunch of stuff to make energy, but yet, wonder what's on the tube tonight. No, don't want to watch that. Oh, that looks good. Watch some TV. How are you expending that energy, right? So your body says, I can't waste all this energy. We gotta store. Let's convert to triglycerides. Let's convert it to fats. Let's store this stuff. We can't deal with all this energy. And then your body has to detoxify at night. If you look at the Chinese calendar, between 12 and 4 o'clock is the time of the liver. You go into what's called your autonomic nervous system goes into a parasympathetic mode, into a cleanup job. And if you are not living a decently clean lifestyle, you will wake up and be like, hey, what? 3 o'clock in the morning. Why do I do this every single night? Because your liver's, processing something that you're doing in your life that's stimulating. I wish you would just do things that are stimulating that you enjoy and not things that are necessarily bad for you and wake you up at night. Sometimes when you see that pattern, I'll give some burdock tea, support the liver, drink some burdock tea at night. That'll help. Chamomile tea. That'll help. There's a lot of different ways we could talk about sleep for a long time because, if you're eating too much at night, if you're demineralized, potassium, magnesium, iron, zinc are the primary minerals I've seen. Vitamin A, I've seen that change things. And this is even before you start taking those nootropic agents. What can I do for my brain? Huperzine A and Bacopa, and I'm blanking. But you can, and herbs for sleep. Let's do some kava, man, and let's just chill a little bit. Or everyone thinks of your nervine herbs. You have skullcap, scutellaria, and wonderful herb for sleep, valerian. GABAergic. Oh, we could talk about GABA and go to nutraceuticals. Let's take some GABA and increase those GABA, inhibitory neurotransmitters and just chill out a little bit. And so there, I don't like playing brain chemistry. You could do the simple things. I've talked about cell salts, a little bit of caliphos, nerve relaxation, and that's why some people just do that. The mixture flower essences. Bach Rescue Remedy. That's quite relaxing for many people, and they have those Bach pastels that are the remedies that are most common for anxieties and rapid thoughts to help people to sleep. There's 100 different ways. How do you know? You test. So I can sit here and talk about all of these things naturopathically. One of the best ways I used to put my kids to sleep was hydrotherapy. I'd put a hot, moist towel on them and wrap them up in a blanket, and then come back with an ice cold towel. Yeah, on my infants, put an ice cold towel on them, and then wrap them up in a blanket. And before they would warm that towel, which typically with a child would take 3 to 4 minutes, they were asleep. Just knocked them out. Hydrotherapy, that constitutional hydrotherapy just stimulates blood flow to those vital organs, and is just magical with what it can do for the person. So when you're looking at sleep, you're opening a can of worms and saying, why? What is going on here? Sometimes I can just listen to my Bible app and think that I'm going to be staying awake, and next thing you know, I'm falling asleep, and I'm like, okay, time to tune out for the night. And I'll pick up there and actually have to go back a chapter sometimes because I'm like, I don't even know what I heard. Anyway, Marty, my daughter had COVID, not good, but still has fatigue issues. She has to wear a mask at work. Any suggestions? She takes vitalometry. Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at the aspects of fatigue, you've got to check her bricks. She's got to learn her sugar patterns. Some people, you put a little bit of juice in their water and they're just sipping that trace amount of juice. If they have high pHs, use cranberry. If they have low pHs, use some grape juice or something to that effect. Sometimes they just need to eat more readily, small meals throughout the day, and control those sugars. But bottom line, you got to check and see the sugar value before you just say it. Otherwise, if you want her to take something, order her a bag of cordyceps. You can get cordyceps on bulksupplements.com. Best price I found of it, cheaper than what I could get it for. So get yourself a pound. Cordyceps, have a cup of tea in the morning. I like a mint tea or some type of herbal tea. There's Stash makes a Tulsi lavender tea. Tulsi is holy basil, and it's wonderful for just holy basil is one of those adaptogenic herbs that helps to increase. So put a teaspoon of cordyceps in there, boom. Those of you who are high exercisers, it's amazing what cordyceps can do for you. It doesn't taste horrible. Pretty good way to go. Give you an adaptogen. But bottom line, control those sugars. Learn the sugar regulation, learn the pattern, and once you identify by checking a refractometer your pattern, you can be like, hey, I need to eat this time of day. I need to be drinking more water this time of day. Wow, my pHs are really low. I should be eating more of these foods. It just opens up specifically what we need before we go back and start taking, all these products. I carry rhodiola. Rhodiola is great for that. It can give you some pretty vivid dreams at night too. Those of you who are having sleep issues, take some rhodiola in the morning, get you going, sleep, and have some hippie dreams at night in all reality. Let me see what else we got here. Leah, my husband is having the same sleep issues. Yes. Q plus 2020. I would have numbers for you today, but your office staff couldn't read another office staff's writing and called the wrong number. They then sold the refractometer that I had been waiting for over a month for. Oh my God. My office staff did such a thing. I'm going to have to bring this up in a meeting. Sorry about that. Seriously. Refractometers, we typically have the basic ones. We don't always have the digital refractometers on hand. If you were wanting a digital one, they're by far the way to go, though. Can essential oils be used for sleeping aids? Heck yeah, yeah. Everyone always thinks of lavender. Some people like peppermint. Those are two that are commonly used in things. Even mix them together. There are sleep-based things. I know doTERRA makes sleep-based essential oil pills to take. Just like herbs, essential oils are powerful, dirty drugs per se. When you're looking at a drug, it's like, hey, I'm giving you this to cause this. Well, herbs say, I'm giving you this for this, but in the meantime, because of other constituents in the herbs, I'm going to affect this, and I'm going to affect this, and I'm going to affect this, and I'm going to affect this, but it's all good, man. You know, herbs are, I love herbs, you know, I really do. And I mix them. For people who have COVID, Stephen Bruner, had a great paper that's found online, a PDF in regards to a response for COVID, giving a functional mechanism and what herbs could play a role with that. There's also Shiva. Dr. Shiva has brought stuff forward with regards to nutritionals and herbs that are specific for the mechanisms involved with COVID and how that we can address those type of things. But when you're talking basics for sleep, essential oils are just concentrated herbs. You know, you're taking the true some of the strongest constituents are found in those oils. Not all of them. You know, some of those constituents are water soluble and they're not carried over as much in the oils. But essential oils are powerful by all means. You know, even just smelling them can be calming. Some people talk about taking essential oils internally, whereas other practitioners say don't ever do that. You know, and some are just putting on a diffuser. I have a diffuser in my favorite living space at home, and I've always did Young Living oils, and I have two cases actually full of oils, and I can put oils on. I really enjoy that. Uh, does your office do remote consults for dogs? I need some help, please. Somebody's putting the word out. Yeah, I do. I have helped and worked with a couple dogs. I just actually, as of the beginning of the new year, our new dog product based upon vitalometry. You know, so I don't know those of you who are well aware of vitalometry, which you can see on the side of your screen. But vitalometry was a product that I created for telomeres and for longevity, and basically vitalometry helps with immune activity for preventing. I mean, the people that I know that are taking that, none of them have got COVID. Not that I'm sitting there claiming that it does prevent it, but you have green tea extract with ellagic acids, and you have resveratrol from elderberry in there, and you have astragalus, which is historically been shown for immune boosting activity and adaptogenic, and so there's a lot of things in there that help. And so we got that a product called K9 telemetry, for dogs coming out, because in all honesty, it kept my dog alive and made my dog, her cataracts get better. She could walk up and down the stairs. She regained bladder control. It was amazing. And so, and then we were looking at what to do as a next product, and I've had other people ask me for the product and for their dog, and I make it, and they're like, "Oh my God, can you make more?" I'm like, "No, I can't. It takes too much time to make these things on special." And so we finally decided that we're going to come out with a dog product, and then we turn around and do the same thing for a horse. My assistant, her sister has a 24-year-old horse. And I'm like, well, we can make a tub of this stuff up. And you can give a quarter cup a day or twice a day. And within 5 days, for the first time that she could remember, that horse ever ran. 24-year-old horse running. I'm like, okay, not necessarily the safest thing, because as that back starts to hump, and horses lose their calcium deposits, what if they break their back? So we've increased the calcium in it and stuff like that. So we're actually talking about making, some type of equine telemetry as well, or something. I don't know what name. Give me a name, people. Horsey. I don't know what they call it. So, but I have done dogs. I have an actual client who's got a dog with stage 4 cancer, and he catches the pee, brings it in, and we run the numbers, and we've adjusted what the dog eats, and I'm giving it some basic supplements, and we're apparently doing okay. So, and I'm not a vet, so, but yes, if you're able to run some numbers and you can catch that dog's pee and get some saliva with a pH strip, Reams showed that those numbers represent biological life. And so we could modify a dog's diet and move it towards that ideal. You can't force a dog to drink, but you can put it in front of them, and you can get the things that it needs. and we've been quite amazed at how the dog that we've been working with has responded. Um, Vitamin C, zinc, and D3, they say can help prevent getting sick with uh, the flu, chi flu, or yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yes, and I just actually found a company, Nutribiotic, that has all three of them in one capsule, and we're going to order some just for convenience. And pretty soon, if you're on my email list for my office, if you go to Pittsburgh Alternative Health, you can link that through docmisak.com. You go to Pittsburgh Alternative Health, and then if you sign up for our newsletters, we're going to do a COVID concern special. We can't claim it's doing anything, but we're going to have a little package of stuff put together that's preventative. And I ordered the C, zinc, and D3 capsule specifically, so it's all in one pill just to simplify from taking another handful of stuff every day. One day I accidentally took a relax capsule from the Daily Manufacturing, thought I was taking my Mencall. I ended up taking a 4-hour nap. I think that has melatonin in it, doesn't it? But yeah, I'm super excited for the canine version. Me too, Lauren. It works. Every dog that we've given it to has been totally amazing. Um, uh, Annie, her dog, started acting like puppies again, and she hasn't seen it happen for like 4 years. And she'd come in, and the dog would start spinning around, and it hadn't done it for years. Started taking the canine telemetry product, and as she said, within a week, she'd come home, and her dog was so excited, he'd go for spins, and he couldn't. The dog wants to go out, but he'd go out and go hunting or something like that, and then he couldn't walk for like 3 days because he arthritis in his rear end or hips and stuff, and it just was so hard. But he still would want to get up and go. And Annie's like, it's amazing, Doc. He's out there. He's playing. He's running around. Another dog's, one of my assistants gave it to her, uh, like 11-year-old lab, and like definitely up and down the steps better than he was. And I'm like, okay, I'll make the product. And so we did. We formulated it, pulled it together. Annie created an incredible label and box for it, and we got it all together. There's a lot involved with doing something like that, people. And but it is in formulation right now. Boxes, labels, everything go into the manufacturing company. First of the year, we're going to be getting it in. If you're on if you've ever ordered Vitalometry from the Vitalometry website, you're going to be the first ones to hear about it. And my office, if you're on that email from my office, you're going to hear about it. And so we're going to bring that in. And I can't see it only for old dogs. Yes, it's based upon telomere activity and stuff, because everything in there is good for hair, skin, nails on animals, joints on the animals, immune aspects on the animals. When you're looking at what's in there, it's not, I can't turn around and say that, I wouldn't use a full dose on a small, younger dog, maybe do a half dose, and just from a preventative standpoint. So, but I'm really looking forward for it. Let me see here. Yay, my Minpec Rexy just turned 19. What is a min pin? 7 days. He has super bad chronic dry eyes, occasional seizures, allergies, and anxiety. Yes, I'm hoping that it will. I'd like to know what a min pin is, though. That's interesting. 19-year-old dog. That's awesome. I hope that you come back and just give me like some incredible stories about it. And it's going to be testimony that's going to build it. And we use, I'm just excited, just totally excited. I got to keep looking forward. Oh, a mini pincher. Okay, nice. So, but anyway, I don't know. I just wanted to bring some things together today that just hopefully that you guys had some true blessings for the season, that you just I don't know. This year has just been so crappy for me. I can only hope and see that something's got to get better. And we're starting out the year with a new product where we have all the posters, Annie's working to let's find a publisher, and we're putting things together so we could submit a preface to the book. You got to find what's called a if anybody knows a publisher or knows a publishing um, agent, send them my way. The whole idea is, you find a publishing agent and they present your synopsis of your book to publishers. And I hope that we can get the book in front of a bunch of people, because I don't want to turn around, invest $40,000, buy myself a bunch of stack of books that sit in the back, and I have to ask you guys to buy them. I'm hoping that we can find a publisher that puts it out there for us and helps to do the marketing. And that's what we're looking for, is somebody. And if you guys have ideas, please email the office and give me directions on that. Marty D, the usual reminder, hey, give us the blue thumbs up, people. I thank you for that. It just helps with those statistics that YouTube, which they're killing me anyway. So, but it helps with those statistics that show that that you guys are enjoying the show, and supposed to help. Their statistics to make it be seen to other people, but for some reason I don't get seen. Um, you have been such a blessing to all of us. Thank you. You're welcome, Jackie. Jackie, my third dog is that mix. Also, they have a laser eye. I have some eye drops, and they're just called eye drops. They are magical. They're made. They're called. They're for sensitive eyes. They're made with a colloidal silver with a trace mineral blend in them that are hypotonic, or not hypotonic, but the tonicity, the concentration of stuff supposed to be equivalent to that in of the eyes. And whenever my dog had goopy eyes or anything in there, that's exactly what I would put in my dog's eyes, and it would clear it right up. Cheap stuff too. It's like $10 a bottle, people. It's magical. I don't know if anybody out there has ever tried it. The eye drops that we carry for, they're usually used for just moistening the eye. But if I see people who come across and get pink eye, in a day it gets rid of it. You put it in a couple drops 3 times a day, and pink eye disappears. People who are having discharge of waking up with crusties gets rid of. It's amazing. It's not for treatment, people. Can't claim to treat anything, but I have seen magical aspects. I keep one in my car. Just I keep one in my medicine cabinet at home. I keep one in my car. I keep one open in my office. If anything goes on with my eyes and are feeling dry and going like, oh man, what a morning. I'm hungover with Val Davis here, who asked me about what to do for hangovers. Something like that might feel a little better in my eyes for the day. Let's see what else we have here. Yes, good morning, Doc. Merry Christmas. Thanks for everything you do. You're welcome, Marcia. God bless you. Prayers for better years ahead. Thank you for all you do. You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. Some of us are pleasers, and I guess you could look at it as a build, something to build yourself, or something that sometimes puts you in where you aren't yourself and you give yourself away because you like to help others. Some people say, Mother Teresa was addicted to helping others, and that was her joy. She found that, in a selfish way, it was selfish for her to do things for other people and give it away, in some way. And I don't know, maybe I got a bug. I do. I like to help. There's a sense of well-being that comes from it, and it's really, I can sit here and say it's my pleasure being here. And I just thank you guys for listening, and thumbs up, and sharing, and trying to help us figure out how to get this message out, and what we can do to move this message across the United States. And I could sit here and optimistically say this book can be it, but it's got to go to the right publisher, and it's got to go to the right marketing people. So if you want to do something for me, pray that the right person and the right publisher steps in, and that this can become a reality. If something like this canine product to finance some of the ideas that we have behind, creating a retreat center that can just lay the foundation for teaching, and growing foods and connecting farmers with with people who are health conscious of what to eat, because food is supposed to be our medicine. That's in Proverbs, that's in Genesis chapter 1, I believe, and God talks about these type of things, that food is he put it here for us to be healthy. And so naturopathic medicine is just that, recognizing, what foods are right for you. And Dr. Carrie Ream says, hey, well, you can determine that based upon the energy of that food, based upon what calcium it is, based upon what your inner soil and terrain need, because your urine is telling us. Test yourself and say, hey, I need this. And here's a list of foods that provide it, and so it's all connected and it's all good. And it's just a message that I think that everybody needs, because it takes the fad out of diets. It's like, at least you can measure and say, yep, that did me good. Oh my God, peanuts are bad for me, or whatever. A favorite food. I've had people test positive for avocados, and then you go back and they love avocados on their sandwiches and in their salads. And oh, give me the guac, man. I mean, I made some nice guac at our Christmas party last what day was that? Tuesday night. And so guacamole. Oh, isn't that just like soul food for some of us? So, but what if you react to it? How do you know? Test, run your numbers. And if I need to go back to the basics of teaching the numbers, I'm happy to do that. Just bring them to the table, and or let's I'm gonna get there. At some point, Annie's asking me every week that we should have some type of thing, but right now I'm working on the classes. How do I teach this stuff on a weekly class, so where we can do I don't know how to a level 1 training basically. Let me see. I might need to order the drops to help. Yeah, they're not going to affect anything. Um, they won't interact with your other drops. Just keep them away from it. It's amazing what they do. They're dirt cheap. They'll be cheap. It'll probably be less than $15 to have them shipped to you as well. Just they're called eye drops for sensitive eyes. That's what they're called. I think they're only $10, and they'll fit in a basic mailer envelope, probably less than $4 a ship. So they're wonderful eye drops, people. Um, you're welcome for all your help. Thank you. I'm looking forward to the book too. I've read it. I thought it was pretty good. Annie read it. She thought it was good. We haven't let anybody else read it yet, but it's so ready. We just got to find the right person, people. So, hey, I'm going to, we got about 7 minutes. I'm going to tune out early. I don't know that I've done a show less than an hour for a while. But that colonic device in there is probably calling my name. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of this stuff that's been in my gut. Take some probiotics. Restore the gut, people. Restore the gut. Restore the gut. Always important. Probiotics. Drink your water. Know that you're eating. Bring some good food back in. If you need to eat the crap just to get it out of the way, then feel like crap for a short period of time by eating it all and then fasting and doing an enema or something to get it out of you. But addictions, food addictions. I mean, we could do a show on that, people. What you crave is probably long term going to cause some of your issues. And so, those Oreo cookies, it was really funny because we were playing games and I was just like, I just want to take a nap, because that wheat just knocks me out. Oh my God. If I want to go to bed, just give me wheat, but what really works for me is a little bit of honey, because it sugar crashes me, and sleepy time tea with the chamomile. But honey and maple syrup totally crash me. I can drink it 15 minutes later, I'm out, just total crashes my sugars. So great show. Thank you. Level 1 training sounds great. I think it does too. I'm going to try to tune out people. Merry Christmas. Just don't forget, God's with you all. And you just gotta reach out and talk. And he's standing at that door waiting for you to knock, and the door is open, people. And he wants to be with you and in your life, and for all the end of your days. And that's where the joy and the love and the peace is truly found. And I, I could sit here and sound like a preacher, but that is the God honest truth, people. I couldn't be getting through and doing this stuff if it wasn't for him, because this year I'm ready to put it behind. So thank you for everything. Merry Christmas to all of you. Happy New Year. God bless you always. And next week, I will be in West Virginia at my mom's. So if I do a show, it might be short, but we'll see. God bless you. Until then, take care.